My name is Quentin Henney. I'm advisor and director of Crescat Capital, a strategic shareholder in Goliath Resources Limited. Goliath is a Canadian explorer, trades on the TSXV under the symbol GOT and on the OTCQB under the symbol GOTRF. I'm going to speak to you today about their exciting exploration in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia. Before I proceed, I must draw your attention to the forward-looking statement. This is posted as part of the presentation on the company's website. I would urge you to read it at your leisure. Here you can see the capital structure. The current share count is about 55.3 million shares out. With warrants and options comes to a fully dilute 87.2 million shares. Board and management hold about 12%. Crescat Capital just under 10%, and Eric Sprott holds 8.2%. The Gold Digger project is located near the southern terminus of the Golden Triangle, south of the town of Stewart. It's situated within a geologic feature known as the Eskay Rift, which encompasses a number of world-class ore bodies, including the Eskay Creek Mine, Kerr Sulphurets, Brucejack, and more close to home, we've got Dolly Varden and the Homestake Ridge deposit. The map on the left shows an early image of the discovery of the Sherbet back in 2019, along with a lot of surface samples collected during that time. Many of the numbers you see here are in the tens of grams per ton gold equivalent. Very exciting discovery. It was followed up in 2020 with channel sampling along the Sherbet zone, which yielded many channels of, say, on the order of 10 meters of 10 plus gram gold equivalent. That was enough to inspire the company to go ahead and start drilling in 2021, and I'll talk more about that during the rest of this presentation. Here you can see the project, the Gold Digger project, extends from Alice Arm down here in the south, all the way up to the snowfields in the north. You can see Homestake Ridge and Dolly Varden immediately to the northeast. Here's a more recent image of the Sherbet zone, which is this red feature that wraps around the mountain like a horseshoe. It comes up the north face, goes over the crest right through here, and then extends down the southeast face of the mountain through here. There's two near vertical structures, one called the Real Deal and one called Cloud 9, that are projected to intersect the Sherbet zone at depth, and I'll talk more about that and what we found this season. You can see all of the drill pads that were positioned to test this season, shown in blue stars. The image on the left shows the drill array. We drilled 5,332 meters in 24 holes. Many of the holes were near surface where the Sherbet zone outcrops. Some were drilled a few hundred meters down dip, and then there's one hole that was completed late in the season from the Real Deal drill pad, which intersected the Sherbet zone over 1,000 meters down dip. This is an absolutely astounding result for an early stage discovery. So far, we have assays for 3 holes, and this includes hole GD213, which assayed 4.46 gram per ton gold, as well as 122 grams silver, which is 6.37 gram per ton gold equivalent over 35.72 meters. It's an absolutely remarkable result, but we're also anxious now to see the assays for the remaining holes, all of which hit significant intervals of mineralization. This table lists the drill holes, where they're located, from which pads they were drilled. You can see the ones we have assays for, the first 3. We're awaiting assays for 21 drill holes. I'll draw your attention to the fact that all of these holes intersected mineralized intervals. You can see here their widths, and all of these are pending. Here's a cross-section. This is looking northwest. It extends from the outcrop of the Sherbet up here towards the top of the mountain, all the way down to this drill hole number 24 that I mentioned earlier. This drill hole actually tested the Sherbet zone at depth. It actually intersected mineralization along the Real Deal and then went into the Sherbet zone, ending in granite down at the bottom. This hole gives us great comfort that we have mineralization extending continuously from surface for about 1,125 meters down dip, and it is open at depth. We think that the fluids that came up this structure also fed the Real Deal and the Cloud 9 structures, and I'll talk more about that at the end of the presentation. Here's yet another cross-section, similar orientation, but it's a little bit further down the hill. It shows the position of the cliff pad, which was the pad from which holes 1, 2, 3, and 4 were drilled. You can see here. We have assays for holes 1, 2, and 3, still waiting on assays for 4. And here's our hole 24, way down dip. Again, shows the continuity, the absolute magnitude of this size of this target is absolutely incredible. And the fact we were able to demonstrate this with an intersect way down dip here is just a remarkable outcome again for the first season of drilling. Now I'm going to talk about the mineralization. I'm going to show you a series of slides that show the mineralized intervals from some of these drill holes, so you get a sense that we're quite comfortable we're onto something big. You can see the rock on the left-hand side. That's actually a piece of rock collected during channel cut sampling. It's a polished slab of the mineralized material. The brassy material is pyrrhotite, mostly, a little bit of pyrite, and then the gray and kind of silvery minerals that you see in there, these streaks going through here, are sphalerite and galena, with which which the precious metals are associated. The white is quartz. This texture is very distinct, and we saw it clearly in many of our drill holes. This core over here is from hole 3. It assayed 38.3 grams per ton gold, 338 grams per ton silver. It looks almost identical to what you see on the left. Now let's look at what we hit elsewhere. Hole 3, the core from the mineralized interval is shown along the top row, and this will be the case in each of the subsequent slides. What's shown in the bottom is simply an individual piece of core from the mineralized intervals we hit in some of the other holes. Again, these are assays pending. You can see here's some of the mineralization from hole 4. Looks very similar. Again, pyrrhotite, and then we got galena and sphalerite in the kind of dark grays and silvery colors here, and then our brecciated quartz. Here's an example from hole 6, again comparing to hole 3. You can see clots of pyrrhotite, sphalerite, and galena. In fact, the galena and sphalerite is quite abundant in this particular piece of core. Here's hole 18, massive pyrrhotite through here, but we have a lot of sphalerite and galena and silver sulfur salts over here. Again, appearance-wise, very similar to what you see in hole 3. Not to be too repetitive, but here we are in hole 21. We're going a bit further down dip, and once again we see the same textures. We see pyrrhotite, galena, and sphalerite, intermits, quartz, brecciated often, very similar in appearance to hole 3. Last but not least, we have a picture of core from hole 24. This is quartz veining with pyrrhotite, and the dark colors through here are sphalerite, galena, some silver sulfur salts, very similar in appearance to hole 3. It is remarkable the continuity of the appearance of mineralization in all of the drill holes drilled to date. Here you can see a 3D model of the Surebet zone. In the case on the left, we're looking northwest at this tongue-shaped feature. This is the Surebet zone projected as it dips down about 45 degrees to the southwest. Here you can see our drill holes near surface. Some of these were very close to the edge or outcrop of the Surebet zone, somewhere a few hundred meters down dip. And then you can see here our lone hole down, way down dip at Real Deal, which intersected the Surebet zone some 1,100 meters down the true depth of this important vein. This is an absolutely remarkable result. Look at these two vertical features. These are the Real Deal and Cloud 9 veins. And these have mineralization very similar in appearance to what you see in the Surebet zone. Why? Well, the fluids that probably fed the Surebet zone coming from depth here probably leaked up these and also produced similar mineralization in those two structures. So we're quite anxious to test those as well. In the image on the right here, you can see we're looking down on the feature this time. So this is the Surebet zone where it outcrops as it wraps up and around the mountain. Here's our drilling, and here's that one hole from that Real Deal pad way down dip. Notice how the Surebet zone expands tremendously along strike as it goes to depth. Okay, so not only is it open down dip, it is widening up along strike as we go down further. This is a remarkable outcome. This thing has a huge footprint and is wide open for expansion in all directions. Just a little refresher. Again, here's the SureBet zone. Here's our drill pads. I'm going to draw your attention to the Real Deal and Cloud9 structures because I think it's important to mention how similar the mineralization that was discovered along these two is to that stuff at SureBet. This last slide I'm going to show you has a couple of images. One is from Cloud9. This is from the Real Deal. You can see mineralization here in outcrop that was discovered this past summer. Here's mineralization that was found in this creek bottom. And here are samples, hand samples. Again, these are quartz vein breccias with lots of pyrrhotite, lots of sphalerite and galena. Here we go, quartz vein with lots of strings of sphalerite and galena and pyrrhotite through them. Again, we think the fluids that fed the SureBet zone are also feeding these two structures. And with that, I'll cut it to an end. Stay tuned for assays. We expect assays over the next few weeks. We hope by the end of this year, we should be able to present assays for the entire remaining 21 drill holes. Here's the contacts for Goliath. I would urge you to contact them to obtain further information. Thank you very much.